before I say anything, I am going to say this video is going to be about Charlie Kirk and what happened to him on September the 10th, 2025, where he was shot in public. I am going to be showing a lot of satire posts and a lot of posts from both sides that, people might find this whole topic something they don't want to see or talk about. This is me giving a warning beforehand. You might see things that are distasteful, things that are you might not find you agree with on this video or the stream, wherever you're watching it on. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. But this is me warning you beforehand that you might see content, depending on, regardless of what your views are on Charlie Kirk and his opinions, you might not like or agree with. And yeah, this is me telling you to watch out in case this is something that would upset you or whatever. But yeah, I'm talking about, in fact, I'll start with Facebook actually. I made a post about it on there. Let's play. So I made this whole big ass fucking post here. I'll talk you through exactly what it is I said. I'm someone who uses the platform to openly discuss things like empathy for people who are killed unlawfully over many years now, which is something I always do. The fact that people are only now just using the platform to show sympathy for someone who was against the idea of showing empathy, which is Charlie Kirk, which is something he was famous for doing. Like, he was legitimately against the idea of empathy. He said it was something that the woke left invented. For victims should make me angry, and I understand why so many others are, because there are a lot of people who are angry at Charlie Kirk and the fact that people are only showing sympathy for him. And, the whole thing with America raising, like, flags to half-mast in honor of him, when on the same day a school shooting happened and nobody cares about that. In fact, multiple school shootings have happened, mass shootings actually have happened this whole week, and people were just completely silent and willing to ignore it and did no action against it, which is why a lot of people are very understandably angry at the idea of people showing this much empathy for Charlie Kirk when he would never have. In fact, his whole platform was used to advocate against victims. Like, he's very famous for saying things like how deaths of children in schools for mass shootings are, a justifiable thing that we should all accept. Like, it's the cost that he's willing to pay to have, gun ownership, to the degree that the US has, because other countries do have gun ownership, but they don't have mass shootings. And yeah, his whole platform was to justify that happening. So to me, the death of Kirk is no different from or more special than the death of any public figure. And while others are using it as a pearl-clutching moment, as if they don't joke about Margaret Thatcher being dead every year and call her grave a gender-neutral toilet, or wish death upon people like Greta Thunberg and hope the IDF bomb the boat she's on for having opinions they don't agree with, or were mocking the death of George Floyd for over 5 years. That's not a spelling mistake. This is how you know I've not used AI to write this shit. I wrote this straight from my own head because there is a spelling mistake in there. But yeah, people say this sort of shit all the time. And it's, if you legitimately go to Twitter, look at someone who's showing empathy for Charlie Kirk, go on their profile and then search the word George Floyd or Greta Thunberg or anyone else that, would be aligned with the left. You'll see so many posts of them wishing death or harm on them or mocking their deaths, right? So it's incredibly hypocritical to see so much empathy and outpouring from people who are the biggest, offenders when it comes to sending death threats and wishing death upon others, which is something that we're seeing like an outpouring of at the moment. I should be angry at all this, but I'm not. When I see people posting about how they have empathy for Kirk and his family, I understand why. It scares them. That's why. To think that this kind of violence doesn't just happen in countries across the sea, and it could happen to people like them. I understand why people would want to encourage empathy over more violence, and I don't want to see things escalate further. I've seen a lot of people on bigger platforms, like Hassan Abi and stuff, like Dean Withers, I think, is also one of his biggest rivals, showing empathy and sympathy for Charlie Kirk and his family. And people are saying, "Oh, why aren't you making fun of this? He's a horrible person. You should be making fun of this." And because they are people with bigger platforms, they understand the importance of how much impact their words would have. Like, we've all seen, literally a few weeks ago, people like Destiny were calling for people like Hassan to be shot and killed. Like, Destiny was on his stream saying someone should shoot and kill Hassan in public, right? And only less than a month later, we've seen that exact thing happen to Charlie Kirk. And that's why it's important for bigger influencers to not encourage that kind of thing. Like I'm not that big. I can probably get away with saying like jokes and memes about Charlie Kirk and dark humor stuff if I wanted to, because I know my words aren't going to reach someone. Well, I mean, they probably will, but they're not as likely to reach someone who has access to a gun and can act upon those words, like someone like Destiny or Hassan or any big streamer like Asmongold or whatever could do. Which is why, like, I think people who become influencers should absolutely be vetted once they reach a certain threshold, because it only takes one impulse post made in a moment of anger that could then lead to more violence like this, and they don't want to be perpetuating that. Nobody should want to. Hang on, where was I? I've lost my point now. The same people who were suddenly against political violence were completely silent. Oh, hang on. Okay, the same people who are suddenly against political violence were completely silent every single time a journalist was bombed by a drone, or when the Capitol was stormed, the spelling mistake I spotted, by people chanting "Hang Mike Pence," or the violence and damage caused by the Southport riots in the UK. And this is one of the biggest hypocrisies I've been seeing online, right? People who are like saying, "Oh, I hate political violence now because it led to the death of someone like Charlie Kirk," were completely silent or idle when all of these other incidents were happening. Because I'm someone who's very vocal about political violence and, unlawful killings. And I've made so many posts about all of these topics, saying why it's wrong, why it's bad, why we shouldn't encourage it. And the entire time, like, people in my space and so on have been completely silent about sort of thing, never cared enough about it, turned a blind eye to it. Even when it was happening in their very country, like the Southport riots in the UK or the Capitol in the US, only now being angry because it's happened to someone that looks like them, basically. I should be angry at all this, but I'm not. When I see people posting how they have empathy for Kirk and his family, I understand it. Why? It scares them to think that this kind of violence doesn't just happen in countries across the sea and it could happen to people like them. I understand why people would want to encourage empathy over more violence and don't want to see things escalate further. Like I said earlier, people with bigger platforms understand this pretty well and are doing the right thing in not encouraging it, especially after it's happened so soon. The problem is, and this is where my main issue is, we're talking about someone who spent his whole life not doing that for the victim, or for other victims. We're just seeing a continuation of the cycle he perpetuated and eventually fell victim to. This is exactly everything he debated for, right? He wanted gun ownership, and he said that a few deaths or school shootings are necessary to have the right to own guns. Like, he's like saying it's acceptable and whatnot. And he's just become victim to the very thing he was advocating for, which is the height of like poetic irony, so if you want to call it that, which is like, it happened to him as he was debating for someone to have the right to do that to people like him. And I think it's because he fully believed this kind of violence would never happen to him. That's why he was okay with it. He thought, oh, like, because if you look at his views, like, when it comes to gun violence, the very first thing he tends to bring up, in fact, the very last thing he brought up before he was shot, is gang violence and how he believes, like, black people are the ones responsible for the most, like, mass shootings because he thinks it's all gang violence and it's all black people with guns doing it. Like, he's that, like, brainwashed by racism. And I think he fully believed that it would never happen to a white man like him. I think the shooter's timing was too impeccable to the point where people saying it was a government operation is somewhat plausible to me, actually. Like, I don't want to be a conspiracy nut or anything, but the shot was a very clean shot. It was, and he had accomplices as well. So the guy they arrested for it wasn't actually the shooter. What happened was, once the shot was fired, there was a guy in the crowd who shouted, "And I will do it again," just so the police would arrest him and detain him and give the actual shooter enough time to get away. So it was definitely a very well coordinated attack, to the point where, like, it's not a disgruntled, mentally ill loner acting alone, like most cases, or, a rogue, crazy terrorist cell or whatever, or like jihadi radicals or whatever they want to call it. It literally was an organized assassination, to the point where, like, if someone says it's a Mossad operation or the CIA planned to do it and they just missed his ear, I'd believe it. But I think it's too early to say that sort of thing now because we've only seen. I mean, there's a lot of footage of the shooting happening, but like the police are still investigating. There's no one been caught yet, so we gotta wait on that. What was I saying? The problem is we're talking about someone who spent his whole life not doing that about the victims. It was just a continuation. Well, we're just seeing a We're just seeing a continuation of the cycle he perpetuated and eventually fell victim to. People are celebrating his death like this because he advocated against empathy while he was alive. I'm seeing people say, oh, we should have empathy for Charlie Kirk and his family. I think, yeah, we should do. But the reason why he's not getting it is because he never had it for others in his entire life. Right? His whole platform, his entire thing was not having empathy for the victims of mass shootings or public shootings, right? Or school shootings. Or things that, like what's happening in Gaza, the victims, like Palestinian children being shot there by the IDF. He had no empathy for them. And that's why we're not seeing people want to express it for him. If you truly want to see more empathy in the world, even for people like Charlie Kirk, and I don't think he's above this as well, he could have been someone that would be receiving empathy and thoughts and prayers from people universally, right? You have to be willing to share empathy for others yourself. It's a two-way street, and you can't just demand it from others when you've never shown an ounce of it. When you've never shown an ounce of it for them. It's like a social contract, right? It goes both ways. You can't just say everyone needs to feel sorry for me when I'm the victim. But the moment the exact same thing happens to you, I will be making memes and jokes and posting about it all day, right? You can't do that. If you want more empathy out there in the world, you got to put it out yourself. You need to be the one practicing what you preach, right? Which is the biggest hypocrisy I'm seeing from people on the right, because every single like right-wing hate page right now is calling for empathy and compassion for Charlie Kirk and his family, despite being the ones who perpetuate so much hate and reactionary like anger towards mass shootings and tragedies like this for the better part of a decade. And of course, in true Avatar Obi fashion, I close it off with a one-liner where I said, ultimately, the saddest part about this whole situation is the fact that I put more thought into my words about the death of Charlie Kirk than Donald Trump did when he told someone else to use an AI prompt to generate the video he posted. For those of you who don't know, there's a video posted of Donald Trump doing like a eulogy for Charlie Kirk, and it's very clearly AI. Either he did it in one take and got someone to fix it in AI afterwards, or it was just completely generated in AI because it's very glitchy. And you can see like jump cuts and things moving, like he'll move his hand and like the tree behind him also moves along with it. Which is like actually insane. There are a lot of comments on here, but I'm not going to go into that. In fact, let me see if there's other posts I made. Anyway, like I said earlier, there will be satire. I've been posting a lot of satire about Charlie Kirk. Because like I said, I will treat this like the death of any other political figure or public figure. And that does include satirizing it. You gotta use satire to, provoke people in power and those above you and those who punch down, which is exactly what I do. And it won't change just because he's dead now. Anyway, another post I did make here. I said, I did the Star Wars quote, fear will keep them in line. Ben Shapiro cancelled his upcoming college speaking events. Like, people saying the fallout from this shooting is going to be very bad and it's going to, cause a lot of harm to people in the future. Not wrong, absolutely will. Like, a lot of people on the left, a lot of trans people and so on, depending on what happens now, are probably going to end up getting blamed or getting a lot of heat for this public shooting, which is a bad thing, but also it's putting the fear of God in people who might have said some pretty horrible things and perpetuated more right-wing hate towards the left. So it's not like a mutually left or right exclusive thing. This is bad for everyone on both sides. Everyone involved. Another one here I put here. Okay, fun fact. The amount of times I posted about Charlie Kirk dying in total is less than half the number of posts Kirk made about George Floyd. So Charlie Kirk has posted a lot about George Floyd. And I mean a lot. If you look at his posts, if you go to his Twitter account and just type in the word George Floyd and see how many tweets he's made, like legitimately making fun of him, punching down at him, celebrating his death at some points as well, calling him a scumbag and everything like that, and using him as like a scapegoat for whatever thing he wants to promote. is actually fucking horrifying. And what he's been receiving has only been a fraction of what he's put out himself. And this is going back to what I said earlier, right? If you want to see more kindness and empathy for yourself or people like Charlie Kirk, you got to put it out there yourself, right? You can't just expect to receive it if you're the one perpetuating hate, because you become a victim of it in the end. Like when it's your turn, when you're the one that's dead, that same hate is going to come around and people are going to say the same thing about you. At the very least, when I die, I hope some of you make some really fucking good memes out of it. Like, I've had enough of my posts go viral. I think, like, to be fair, I think I can put out some more viral posts before my time's up, and I hope you share every single fucking one of them. It's insane to think about how, like, in 100 years from now, people might still be sharing posts with my name as a watermark in there. Like, it could be the year 3025, and someone's gonna share a meme of Superman with my name and the sign behind Lois, and you know, people won't know because I've hidden it so well. The most surprising thing about Charlie Kirk's death is finding out so many people actually can be vocal against the killing of unarmed civilians. They just happen to wait until now until they said anything. Proven wrong. Dark Souls meme. When you say mass shootings, are you including gang violence? This was the very last thing Charlie Kirk said during the debate. He was trying to bring it about. He's trying to talk about black people being the ones responsible for mass shootings, and then he was shot. That bullet had, like I said, the timing of that bullet was too fucking good. It stopped him right before he was gonna go on one of his like racist tirades. Here's an interesting one, actually. I'm glad Charlie Kirk's daughter will no longer be forced to give birth to a rapist daughter, even if it kills her. Like Charlie Kirk said he would make her do if she was ever assaulted. So in the Jubilee episode of Charlie Kirk versus 25 woke liberals, he talked about how if his daughter was 10 years old and she was raped and became pregnant, he would force her to give birth to that child, regardless of if she wanted to or not. Which is a fucked up thing to say. Yeah, his pronouns have been updated. This is one of Charlie Kirk's and his followings like most like used joke, where whenever they talk about the death of a trans person in the news, or you know, trans suicide rates, they always bring up my pronouns are was were now or something like that. Like their pronouns are was were. So like I said, this is him becoming a victim of the very thing he perpetuated. Yeah, this is him saying, this is his own logic. I'm going to treat the death of Charlie Kirk with the same respect he gave the victims of school shootings every time he said their deaths were worth it. And I'm going to use his own logic to say it's his own fault. So, like, previously, he himself has said that unfortunately, it's worth it to have a few school shootings just so he can keep guns, right? And he's also said that the death of women and children in Gaza are their own fault. And this is literally his logic. Like the death of the Japanese during World War II, also their fault, not America's fault. Like his whole platform has been like just victim blaming people for things like that. Anyway, this is when I announced that he had originally been shot. This is when the news broke. Yeah, he got to live so long as well. I've been posting a lot more on Twitter. I've been active on here in regards to this is me announcing that I'm streaming right now. Dark Human Motherfuckers, when the joke is about Charlie Kirk and not women or minorities. Which, like I said earlier, is exactly what's happening right now. People who would joke about topics like this the moment they've happened, right? People who post jokes about school shootings happening as well. Now really upset that the jokes are about Charlie Kirk. The whole everything's okay or none of it's okay crowd are not happy about this. The whole we joke about everything. I mean, if Ricky Gervais hasn't blocked me, in fact, like, I can still see what he says. Has he posted anything, Ricky Gervais? Oh, I can't follow him. Ricky Gervais has blocked you. No, he's just promoting some animated series he's making on Netflix. Yeah, he's not said anything about Kirk. Okay. Violence is never the answer. I agree, so we should stop the violence against Palestinians in Gaza. I am definitely using this as a chance to talk about issues like that. Because people who are previously were supportive of the violence that's happening there, right, are now making every argument they can to say violence is wrong because it's happened to someone on their side of the argument. So no, that's absolutely the case for a lot of people. Their president told them they should be mad about it. So people who had previously never heard of Charlie Kirk are upset about it. Especially when he's implying that it was a left-wing shooter or the Democrat assassin or whatever. Right-wingers when a trans child commits suicide. Lamau 41%. Right-wingers when Charlie Kirk dies. Leftists are heartless brutes. Rip Charlie Kirk. He would have loved to debate all the people saying gun violence is not okay right now. Legitimately, all the people that are defending him right now and saying that it's never okay and we should be more empathetic are people who would have loved to debate. This is the very argument he hated and he wanted to prove wrong. And he was constantly trying to debate against this. So, do you know what? I really feel for him that he happened to die and miss all of this now. This is the one thing he would have loved more than anything. Dark human motherfuckers when you joke about the death of their favorite right-wing political commentator instead of the death of some random trans teenager. Okay, this is the video Trump put out.
Charlie was a patriot.
Which is very clearly AI because it glitches out midway through. It realigns itself, right? You can see the background moves with him.
Charlie was a patriot.
So it's an AI rendered video that has a glitch in it they somehow left in. It's definitely AI, you can tell. The fact that the reason why they didn't edit out that glitch is because they'd have to regenerate the whole video. Because AI can't produce the same result twice. Especially when it comes to art or video like this. Because if they generate a separate video and try to cut them together, it'd be a very noticeable difference. So they had to leave it in. Like, even when AI is at its best, it's not that great. That's just my same post from Facebook earlier. Oh, this is something that happens separately in the UK. So, a group of people were chanting Jeremy Corbyn is a wanker outside what they thought was a meeting he was at. But he wasn't even there. Instead, it was a bunch of disabled children having a dance class that they ended up traumatizing. And this is what they were saying. These are the local flag shaggers.
We've got to go, but we'll stay a bit longer. Yeah. Hopefully it's passionate but lawful, sir.
Lawful's good?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, just to be aware, I know some people know, there is a load of disabled kids having a dance meeting and that in there.
This is the police.
Right. Obviously freaked out by all the shouting and the swearing about...
Notice how they're not attacking these protesters, right? Like they normally do when people are protesting for Palestine action or whatever. How they're not arresting anyone here.
Yeah. Obviously don't frighten the kids.
Obviously we didn't realise, you know.
I know. I think it's a community centre, lots of different meetings.
Yeah, I think you'll find that everybody here is respectful. There's no...
frightened by the fact that all these flags shouting, they just hear shouting and obviously...
It's just that you can't help getting...
Look how quickly he changed his tune as well from saying I'm Israel high to sorry, I meant no disrespect to the kids.
These guys side with...
Okay.
Motherfucker, he was just chanting for Israel and he's like, these guys side with foreigners. Meanwhile, he was chanting for Israel. This is how brain dead people in the UK are. Pretty sure lobotomy would actually improve their intellect. Because anything even scrape out of their skulls, right? Genuinely fucked up. He literally advocated for both you and I to be lynched. The post is unavailable. A lot of posts will be removed. But Yeah, Charlie Kirk calls for anti-trans violence like in the 50s and 60s. He was fully supportive of lynching trans people and other minorities in public. Which is why, I keep saying it's very ironic. He's become a victim of the very kind of hate and violence that he wanted to see happen. He wanted to see this kind of like violence happen to other people. Instead, it ended up happening to him. And I guess that's what it takes for people on the right to see that it's a bad thing. It's just unfortunate it came to this point because America has been going so far downhill in regards to violence like this. It was inevitable. It was only a matter of time until something like this happened. Here's another post about sympathy for me and not for thee. People like this who ask for sympathy also bring up a man who has no political background, has been gone for 5 years, yet still mention him. Why? Because these fucks are hypocritical. Sympathy for me, but not for thee, and all that jazz. Get fucked. In America, they hold moments of silence and lower flags to half-mast for Nazi podcasters and children shot within the same hour. Man, I feel bad for that school shooter. Imagine going through all the effort of planning to shoot up your own school and not even making it to like newspaper headlines because Charlie Kirk got shot on the same day. What a waste, right? Guy's missing out on his like 5 seconds of fame for one of the most horrible things you can do because someone else happened to kill a more high-profile target on the same day. I know we're all having fun, but let's never forget that Ted Cruz like Corey Chase incest porn on 9/11. Unrelated, but I had to mention it. Charlie Kirk says the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. He said gay people are a disease. He said Jewish money ruined American culture. Let's listen to this.
Why does Kirk think that MLK... We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk's self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. As we note in the piece, Kirk has previously described Kirk as a hero and a civil rights icon. It's true. I used to be wrong. What inspired Kirk to shift his view on MLK? Why does Kirk think that MLK is a bad guy? When Kirk says that MLK...
I've seen some people trying to call Charlie Kirk the white MLK, which is one of the worst things you could ever say.
Passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
I'm not sure if even he would agree with that one.
Because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. Yeah, and so it's very simple. So how do you love somebody? You love them so much to correct their error. Yeah. And so let's just, take the pride conversation out because people think it's an identification, which it's not. It's just sexual behavior. But it's...
You're welcome. Hopefully I can provide you plenty more.
Meet a drug addict. Do you affirm their struggle? No. You say, you're better than this. Let's get you free from that. Let's get you free from that activity. Now, we don't know what part Elon is saying is the actual truth. So let's go through this. Again, it's double negatives and misuse of the word disinterested. It's a strange tweet that Elon pinpointed on here. But the first part...
Strange tweet from Elon Musk. He must have been on that ketamine at the time.
Let's go to this. Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred...
It's generally very hypocritical seeing people advocate for empathy now for a guy that was very much against it, right?
A Jewish person believes that. But it is true...
If you ask me, should Charlie Kirk's death be met with empathy? Should we show empathy for him? I would say yeah, but the thing is, he's never shown any of it his entire life for people who have also been victims of mass shootings or public shootings like this. It's a two-way street. You can't demand everyone show empathy for you when you've never shown any empathy for them. If you want to see more empathy in the world, you got to put it out there yourself. That's what I've been saying. Like, I wish Charlie Kirk was a more empathetic person, so when he died, like he has now, people would have shown empathy for him and his death. He's not getting it from so many people because he never showed it for others.
It was quite a day on the internet. Tucker Carlson.
Instead, he's become a victim of the very cycle of hate he perpetuated. Imagine getting fucking assassinated and the president whom you admired and helped to get elected has so little respect for you that he releases an AI-generated video for your eulogy.
And tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and
I have a feeling what happened is Donald Trump recorded a video for Charlie Kirk, but it wasn't very good and he did one take.
open
And they said, all right, cool, we'll fix it with AI. And they thought none of us would notice.
States of America.
You can tell by the way he's moving. Like, he's moving like a South Park character. I've said this as well quite a few times, especially to people who have been critical of me saying, like, things about him being dead. Because to me, he's just another public figure. It's no different than when the Queen died or any other public figure that died recently, right? No different to, like, people making fun of Margaret Thatcher for being dead. Legitimately, I would show empathy for him. And, like I said, if he was more empathetic in person, but at the same time, I'm not going to then go around being holier than thou and condemning people for celebrating his death, right? Like, people are legitimately angry at him for very valid reasons. And I think, do you know what? If Charlie Kirk didn't do those horrible things and, you know, didn't upset these people to the point where they're celebrating his death, I think that would have been a better outcome. I think that's what I would have preferred. Unfortunately, he did do those things, so now it's just karma at this point. It's cyclical. But at the same time, like I was saying, people have told me that I'm being too heartless in regards to Charlie Kirk and his death. But the thing is, in all the posts I've made, everything I shared, one, the amount of posts I made is less than half the amount of posts Charlie Kirk made about someone like George Floyd being killed. And two, I've been kinder to him than he has to other people who are victims of public shootings, right? Or public killings, unlawful killings. I have been, despite how many jokes I've made about him, how many posts I've shared, the amount of satire I've posted, and sarcastic posts I've been making, I have been more respectful to him and kinder to him than he was to others. That's how low the bar is. If anything, that should be depressing to people. I feel bad for his kids. His daughter can finally do whatever she wants with her body. Yeah, he is very much against women having the right to their own bodies. The right to letting them drive and the right to letting them vote as well. A lot of things. I think he was just against the idea of women in general. I'm surprised he even had kids or a wife. It's always kill Nazis until one actually dies and suddenly y'all want to start bringing up his whole extended family. Who gives a fuck? Empathy is for artards. The amount Charlie Kirk is dead. Have you no heart? That's essentially Twitter in a nutshell right now. Dark human motherfuckers, I already said this one. Yep. Yeah, you can see right here, like on every single account right now. Your Wolfenstein promo goes hard. You know what? I've said this as well. I'm excited to see the next episode of South Park. Because the most recent one was about Charlie Kirk. It's almost like, you know, they predicted it somehow. Like, they wouldn't be able to release that episode this week, so they had to get it out last week. But yeah, people who have previously mocked George Floyd, as recently as this year, right, 4 months ago that post was, making fun of George Floyd being dead, are now really upset and wanting to see empathy for Charlie Kirk, right? And are being outraged at people cheering for Charlie Kirk's death and making fun of Charlie Kirk. Average Charlie Kirk fan, this is someone who replied to me, "Go back to your stank-ass country, or better yet, just die." Straight up. You can't write this kind of comedy. I can't write this kind of humor. I'm not that good. Replying to me, telling me to die after Charlie Kirk died. In fact, this is what I said. The fact that it happened and proved me wrong, banner to a pro-gun activist, is poetic. That's all I said, and they were like, alright, now you need to go die. If Trump dies, we're all having parties and parades for days. And Netanyahu, even better. Putin, national holiday. Stop disrespecting death bullshit. Some of you would mourn Hitler, and it shows. It is indeed the case. And I think a lot of it is because of social media rotting people's brains. Because what they want to do is they want to see their posts getting lots of likes. And we joke about it. In fact, my whole stream title is a joke about this very thing. Putting out a post saying thoughts and prayers after someone dies, regardless of who they are or what they did, just because it'll get likes and shares on social media and everyone else is doing it, is unfortunately the reality we live in. I shit you not, a good 30%, I believe, 30% of the posts saying thoughts and prayers of Charlie Kirk had no fucking clue who he was, what he did, nor do they care. They just see people putting out the posts and realize, oh, this is a new trend. I need to also hop on it and get my likes for this as well. Because people are fucking stupid and simple, and brain go burr with serotonin when number next to heart goes up. This is unfortunately the world we live in. And it's not just a small like minority of people that are like this. This is actually a lot of people. And these people are out there voting and driving. And we should be worried about them. This is what keeps me up at night. Jesus Christ, that Charlie Kirk video was awful. Almost like being able to walk into a supermarket and buy a gun is a bad idea. Damn, Trump's newest way to distract from the list is crazy. A lot of people are saying it's an inside job. It's like, oh, they were meant to aim for his ear, but they missed. I mean, the timing was just too impeccable. I think the timing and how good the shot was is what's making me consider it. But I don't think it is an inside job. I just think I can see why people would believe it is. If Nazi zombies were to happen, he will come back. Here's one I put out. New rule, you're not allowed to say you're against the political violence or mourn the death of Charlie Kirk if you're silent about Anas al-Sharif. So Anas al-Sharif was one of the journalists killed in Gaza. In fact, he's one of many journalists, like the entire Al Jazeera crew that were bombed by a drone, or the people that were in the hospital that was bombed a second time. Hope all is well. Hi, Kai Blackstar. Yeah, it's all good. It's just Charlie Kirk's not having a good time right now. I think everyone else is fine, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, a lot of people who are saying they're against political violence absolutely had no issue with it previously when, like, the Al Jazeera journalist team were being blown up by drone strikes. But because it happened to someone on their side of the political spectrum, they are now very much against it. And I think, I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I think, you know what, being against political violence is something people should be. People should be against it. But you shouldn't pick and choose. Because, you know, when it happens, when shit like this happens, it's going to happen to both sides. It's not going to be mutually exclusive to one side. So being silent about it happening to one side makes you somewhat complicit in a way, because it's only a matter of time until someone on your side of whatever belief you have suffers the same violence, because you're allowing it to happen. There's no barrier between the left and the right when it comes to this kind of violence. If you're allowing it to happen to one side, you are opening the floodgate to have it happen to you as well, which is the fucked up part. And people are only now seeing this. People have been saying, hey, this is wrong, we should be all opposing this. And everyone was okay to just ignore it for, like, the better part of 2 years since it started happening in Gaza, because they don't care about brown people across the world on the other side of the ocean or whatever that they'll never meet. But now that it's happened to someone in their own country that looks somewhat like them, in a city similar to what they live in, and how there was nothing he could do to stop it, now people are worried about it. I think it's a little too late now, because you allowed it for so long. You had all this time to be against it, to prevent it from happening, prevent it from being encouraged. In fact, Charlie Kirk straight up encouraged this kind of political violence. He was in favor of capital punishment. He said executions should be public and televised. He believed in capital punishment like this. And now that it's happened, it's happened to him because he thought it would never happen to him. He thought it would happen to everyone else around him that he doesn't agree with. And he was, cheering on to happen to people he didn't like or agree with. And people do this shit all the time. You see people saying they hope Greta Thunberg gets bombed while she's on a boat to Gaza. As if, wishing that kind of death on someone makes them a good person that's still totally going to get into, heaven because love thy neighbor and all that bullshit they claim to believe in. This is just the world we fucking live in, man. And it's sad and depressing. And it took this long for people to realize. It took Charlie Kirk dying for people to realize, hey, this is kind of fucked up. He absolutely was not a good person. He 100% was not a good person. And the unfortunate thing is his death is going to lead to, It's not entirely a bad thing that he died, because he was spreading a lot of hate. And his death is going to cause a lot less hate. I mean, there'll be a spike, of course, at first, because people are going to react saying, you know, blah, 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 revenge, anger, grr. But that's eventually going to die down. I think some people probably use it to radicalize a few others, maybe. But long-term wise, it could be better. But at the same time, this is kind of this is going to lead to violence on both sides, because people are going to blame the left for this kind of thing happening, and then people are going to blame the right for being okay with this kind of violence happening, because they were the ones advocating for it in the first place, right? He's a victim of his own belief, basically, because he believed people should be able to own guns, and he was someone who was, you know, against gun control, and he said school shootings and things like that were just, you know, acceptable. They were worth it to have guns, like we should just put up with it. And he's now become a victim of it. Seeing some people saying nothing good will come of this murder, but here's something already. Ben Shapiro has cancelled his upcoming college speaking events. In fact, I'm pretty sure if I go on the comments on this, a lot of people are trying to encourage him. Here's me saying fear will keep the local systems in line. People are celebrating Ben Shapiro cancelling all of his appearances. Like, people were literally going up and down the country, spreading hate, like Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk were. Now that one of them's dead, the other one's pulled out. This is one of the biggest effects. It's caused people to be less likely to go out and say hateful things in public, right? You could say that's good. You could say that's bad because they're afraid of gun violence, which is a bad thing, right? They shouldn't have to be afraid of that. But this is the world that they created and they are now living in, and now they regret it. Oh, here's another one. Charlie Kirk said black people were better off in slavery and subjugation before the 1940s.
Were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but I guess
Racial
so,
terror permeated
black
American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is
You don't
worse than
think
it has been
that
in the last
affected
80 years.
the generational psyche of an entire group of people?
Well, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. I'm just it shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad. It was evil. But what
I think people were literally gasping at him saying that.
Maybe they were afraid. I
He
mean,
literally wanted to enslave black people again,
black men, women, and
because he thought they were better as slaves because there'd be less crime. Yeah, this is the problem. He was someone who perpetuated hate, and everyone's like, yeah, sure, he has free speech, let him do it. But this is like, prime example, like, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. This is the consequence of him spreading hate. He just thought those consequences would never fall on him. It would happen to people around him, but never him. But now it's happened, and now people are worried, saying, oh shit, I've been spreading a lot of hate. Maybe it's going to fall back on me now. They're realizing that, you know, their words have had consequences, and now those consequences have catched up to them. It's caught up to them, right? People who mocked George Floyd are crying about Charlie Kirk. The party who said, prepare for war, Chicago, sure is getting all butthurt about people talking down about a right-wing podcaster who said the price of Constitution was killing children sometimes. Charlie Kirk, black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously. You have to go steal a white person's slot.
Brain processing power to otherwise Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us.
I don't think I've ever expected to see a point in the history where I would share this much Charlie Kirk content on my page.
No. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat
Banker Kirk.
But I rise today as a clear...
I mean, there's enough content of him doing, like, public speaking events where you could probably just clone his voice and make an AI chatbot.
I may have been
can debate.
on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color. But I can declare that I did not graduate.
I could add him to my stream chatbot, so I've got Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't...
Might be a bit too... and Elon Musk, but I think it might be a bit too disrespectful to do that right now. I'm sure he'd probably be okay with it.
We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not
maybe in a year or so from now,
able to get in on your own.
on the anniversary of his death, I'll honor him by having him become an AI chatbot.
From someone more deserving.
Same people who spent the last 2 years telling us to treat the murder of 80,000 people in Gaza as acceptable and justified loss are about to get real precious about the sanctity of one human life. Charlie Kirk made millions of spewing hateful, racist, and sexist rhetoric. Here's a montage of some of it.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank.
I live as a capitalist. Okay? I live what I believe. No. What do I do? I get charity every single year.
Crime, like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily, no one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was,
this is the kind of bullshit he would say.
Shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
Charlie Kirk.
Shout out to all the black lesbians who didn't get shot in the neck. Let him rest in peace. Here's Charlie Kirk letting George Floyd rest in peace. This is every post he's made mentioning George Floyd after George Floyd died. Like I said, the shit I've shown you now, it's only a fraction compared to how much he's posted. Like, the heat he's getting right now, the smoke he's getting right now is like a fraction of what he put out himself. He is a victim of the violence and hate that he himself perpetuated. This man's tweets about George Floyd is longer than my dissertation for university. Unacceptable that people are celebrating this. He was a human being. He had a family. This is an interesting one I saw, actually.
Fuck. Hey. If you're seeing this, it means someone has just passed away that you don't like, and you've made a joke about them passing, and I'm here to tell you to fuck you. They had a family, a white blonde family. Who cares if they've said some pretty controversial things like, if my kid got pregnant, I would want them to have the baby because that's what Jesus wants. Who cares if they've said stuff like women shouldn't be able to vote?
But she had me in the first half, not gonna lie.
Or use credit cards or talk, really. That's their opinion. So for you to make fun of them, it's not cool. That's not cool. I'm better than you. You see what's happening? It's because I'm better than you. Because
legitimately, people are now just saying things like that because they want to. It's performative, straight up online. People are trying to act like they're better than everyone else because they aren't making fun of him, and everyone who is not praising him or showing empathy for him is a bad person, and they're better than everyone else. It's the fucking white nationalist Christian approach to everything, right? Is to immediately put out a view to then act better than everyone else. Because you are so much better and more caring than everyone else. Oh, hang on. Congratulations to George Floyd on being 5 years sober today. Laura Loomer. Again, pointing out the hypocrisy of the people who are mourning Charlie Kirk were absolutely the kind of horrible people who mocked other people dying. A thread from the racist who's dead, Charlie Kirk.
Impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women
And
that
why?
they have.
Hang on, he really hated black people, by the way. You can tell from this.
I'm not sure.
20%,
So that's why you
80%
think
of
it is.
blacks do not have a stable father around. It is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a or a criminal.
And why
It's
do
not a
you think that's
racism
a problem?
problem. It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women
And
that they have.
why?
I think this is the whole thread as well. Multiple times he said genuinely horrible things
It's thrifold. Number one,
for the people
subsidize single motherhood. Number two,
or about other
it's
groups.
accepted in the black community, and it
Oh, so
shouldn't
it's
be.
culture. Okay.
Don't
If I
take
click
my
onto
word.
this.
Read Thomas Sowell's own
Another one down here.
population.
Yes, I
About
know
half
this.
of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
That's a right-wing conservative white supremacist dog whistle.
But I will respond to them as if
What's this one?
Get reparations. I believe they should. Why should we generalize and say reparations for black people?
Because there are people that are in a worse place because their family was brought here as slaves.
So over 150 years, they didn't have any ability to make better decisions, to save money, and to invest. It was
They weren't even allowed to have bank accounts for a long portion of that time.
yes.
Like, white people have all this generational wealth, whilst black people absolutely couldn't even earn a living for a large portion of that.
You're bringing in really hateful dialect.
No, factual dialect, because you don't like it.
And again, here's some more.
A 300-point deduction on standardized tests versus black students. White people got a 100-point deduction on entrance tests in Harvard University versus black students. This is the Students for Fair Admission Supreme Court case. All of you guys should look up. In fact, in practice, we saw it was much easier to get into Harvard as a black student, regardless if your test scores were lower.
Again, him complaining about DEI.
Definition of racism.
A discrimination against a minority class of people in order to create an unbalance in the society or a
He was, yeah. He was very Zionist. He was very against state of Palestine. In fact, one of the jokes I've seen about Charlie Kirk is like, he would often say that Palestine doesn't exist. And someone posted a picture of him next to a picture of Palestine saying, which one of you doesn't exist now?
I believe that you can have prejudice against white people.
If a group of black individuals, which happens unfortunately, and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were
Oh, I've seen this clip. Again, this is how many clips there are of him being a horrible person.
have both a mom and a dad raising them.
I cannot think of a percentage right now to give you.
25%. So only 1 out of 4 blacks in America have a mom and a dad around. Do you think that is a bigger issue to address than racism? Do you think more dads is a better solution?
Like, if you want to talk about like statistics like that, why doesn't he talk about the percentage of white couples that get divorces? Because that would be the higher number. But of course, that's cherry picking information to try and suit an argument, right? It's not actual like relationship. It's just it's correlation, not causation. But that's just kind of what he did, isn't it?
Why is Black America have this problem?
I think there's a direct link between the industrial complex and incarceration.
Well, how does one get to?
And the profiling African Americans.
No, let me scroll down real quick. How many? Look, this is how many clips there are. I'm not going to go through all this entire thread. There's way too many. Is this our generation's MLK moment? Yes, he is a white MLK. These people are absolutely fucking high or something. He also activated sexual show. Oh, in case you missed that. Okay, this is one that we have not seen yet.
A fraternity guy and a sorority girl at age 19 hooking up, both 5 drinks in at 2 a.m. and all of a sudden she like removes consent. Yeah, like that's a murky middle gray area. And
what goes on a shawarma? Do you know what? That's a debate I could definitely have. Because I know a lot of people prefer mint or yogurt sauce. I'm someone who thinks that it should be spicier sauces. I prefer chili sauce or that kind of sauce, like red sauce, on shawarma. Because I know I can understand why people want mint or yogurt sauces on the shawarma. I can understand the contrast between the spices and the cooling taste of the yogurt. But I think I don't like the fact that the mixing of cheese. I think it dampens the spice, and I like the flavor of the spice in the shawarma. That's why I prefer to have it with chili sauce or with peppers. And when it comes to what bread, I mean, pita bread is good, but I prefer naan bread in general, because I like the texture of it more and the flavor. Sanix, how are you doing? I'm just talking about Charlie Kirk. And shawarma, apparently.
Like a fraternity guy and a sorority girl at age 19 hooking up, both 5 drinks in at 2 a.m. and all of a
garlic mayo, I understand, because garlic has that spicy kick to it.
Area. And excuse me,
she still removed consent, did she not?
Oh, okay, but again,
if he continues to go onward with that encounter, again, then he is sexually assaulting her.
Again, that is such an unfair categorization. Like,
no,
again,
it's not.
It's literally the definition. It's the legal definition.
Like a fraternity guy and a...
No, garlic mayo is a good choice. In fact, that'd probably be my second choice. It depends on the garlic mayo, though. Some places do it really well. Some places just don't do garlic mayo very well. I think it depends on the place I'm at. I just think maxing out on the spice is the way I would go. Yeah, Stanix, I was saying, empathy it's a two-way street, isn't it? If he wanted empathy for him when he died, he should have put some out for others, right? You can't demand everyone be empathetic towards you when you die if you've never been empathetic towards others when the same thing happens to them. People don't see that, though. They just see, oh no, someone who looks like us on our side of the political spectrum is dead. We need to demand everyone pay respects now. Because they're living vicariously through him, right? They're vicariously receiving the respect that he receives because they believe he represents them. Stannis, that's exactly what he would do. Like I was saying, rip to Charlie. He would absolutely love to debate all people who are saying gun violence is bad now. Because that's exactly what he would have lived to do. Like, I'm pretty sure the devil is really excited to be reunited with his biggest advocate right now. It's just the case. He's, like I said, I've said it many times already. He's a victim of the kind of hate he was trying to spread. Absolutely. In fact, Stanix, I've made a new command. If you do ! Pray, you can send thoughts and prayers. I've added that in today in honor of Charlie Kirk. In fact, when I did the word today, my very first word was also in honor of Charlie Kirk. I started off with the word owned because he totally got owned in that gun debate. So yeah, if you want to send prayers to Charlie Kirk, ! Pray. Oh, he's absolutely not getting into heaven with the amount of hate. He did not love thy neighbor, for certain. Yes, that's essentially what's happening here. It's one rule for me and another for thee, right? They want all these rights, but they don't think other people should have them. I've also been posting a lot about journalists that Israel have been bombing, like Anas al-Sharif. I'm saying he was also a father and a husband and didn't deserve to die, but people were okay with political violence when he was murdered for some reason. I wonder what the difference was, right? I wonder what the difference was when he was murdered and everyone was okay just completely ignoring it. But when Charlie Kirk dies, suddenly flags are at half-mast, despite the fact that children died on the same day in a mass shooting. That's not even making the headlines. Another hot take from me here. People say violence isn't the answer, but the United Healthcare CEO's death shook up the health insurance industry. So much so that the Blue Cross Blue Shield started rolling back their AI insurance claims sorting stuff and like a few other policies they were about to implement in regards to, you know, anesthetics that they were going to deny. And Charlie Kirk's death has got all the right-wing hate pages posting about empathy and kindness. I think in this case, this is an example of exactly what Charlie Kirk wanted to have happen. It's happening to the right, right? He wanted this sort of thing to happen to people on the left. Unfortunately, violence doesn't really discriminate, does it? Yeah, American citizens, they were like those the World Kitchen like charity aid workers who were being killed by drone strikes from Israel. There was a flotilla with the Union Jack, the UK's flag, on it that was napalm striked by an Israeli drone, and the UK aren't doing shit about it. Like Israel legitimately just attacked a boat sent by the UK, an alleged ally. And they aren't being held accountable for that. I was also saying that I think Charlie Kirk had a pre-existing neck condition, right? I hope the people who are suddenly against political violence now will be this loud about journalists being bombed by Israel. I hope so. Show that same energy, because you can't be against violence if you're then quiet about violence happening to people just because you don't like the people it's happening to, right? If you don't want this kind of violence to happen, if you don't want the kind of violence that Charlie Kirk suffered to happen to people like you or people like Charlie Kirk, you need to be against it happening to people you don't like as well. Because it's not going to discriminate. A mass shooter is not going to discriminate between that sort of thing. If a mass shooter goes out in public with an AR-15, those bullets are not going to stop and say, hang on, this person's on the right. They're wearing a MAGA hat. Let's not hit them. That's not going to happen. I don't think people understand that, though. I think maybe people are waking up to it now. It's a shame that it took this long and it took for someone to die in public for them to realize maybe they are also going to be affected by the violence they're advocating for. Charlie Kirk was murdered today. Here are his thoughts on George Floyd.
You were trying to get the officer who murdered George Floyd pardoned, and I just want to know what your reasoning was.
I think whoever shot Charlie Kirk should be pardoned. It's what he would have wanted, based on this argument he's about to give.
about that.
Well, George Floyd didn't die because of the police officer. He died largely because of a drug overdose.
But
I think Charlie Kirk died because of a pre-existing neck condition.
The knee on the neck is actually an approved police technique that police
I think the bullet in the neck is an approved police technique.
departments taught Derek Chauvin to use. Do you know that George Floyd was saying, "I couldn't breathe," well before that restraining technique?
Did you know Charlie Kirk was bleeding out from his gunshot wound well before he actually died from it?
And
so why'd they use the technique if he already couldn't breathe?
Well, because he was actually resisting arrest. And
I think Charlie Kirk was resisting that bullet.
they had to restrain him, and they restrained him in a way that they were
They had to shoot him.
taught to do, which is the knee on the neck technique.
Okay, so when does the like technique end? Like when they die? Like he said he couldn't
No,
breathe.
I mean the technique ends when the individual stops resisting arrest. His call
I think the bullet will leave his body when he stops resisting, right? I think the bullet will just naturally exit his body once he stops spewing his hate.
cause of death was not asphyxiation; it was drug overdose.
Yeah, I think his cause of death was not, political violence or anything like that. I think it was just chat shit get hit, which is a condition he suffers from. Well, he did suffer from, not anymore. It's gone now.
Part of it, like he also had a heart like thing, and like he was on drugs.
I think Charlie Kirk had a left
He
thing.
wouldn't have died if he was standing there. Like they had his.
Well,
their knee on
actually,
his
there's an
neck.
argument to be made. According to the medical examiner,
I think he was
overdosing in real time. That it wasn't because of the police officer Derek Chauvin that put his knee on the neck. And again, they were taught to do that. According to the Hennepin County Police Department, they teach that as an approved restraint technique. And by the way, this is just a broader point. Our whole country blew up because of this incident, and it was largely based on a lie. Largely based on a lie. We were all.
What was the lie?
Like the lie of Charlie Kirk being a good person that deserves empathy, because he never actually put out any empathy himself.
The lie is that there was a white police officer that went after a black person just because he was black, and it just wasn't true. He was resisting arrest.
Okay, but he killed him. Like that doesn't.
Well, again, the county medical examiner
Like I said,
disagrees. The county
Charlie Kirk would absolutely debate against anyone currently asking for empathy for him or being against gun violence because he died from a gunshot wound.
in the original report.
So then why was he? Why did he get sentenced?
Exactly.
Like,
That's a good
no,
question.
I'm saying.
I think they should pardon Charlie Kirk's shooter. Why are they even bothering to look for him? Man, the dark human motherfuckers are real quiet right now. Let me get this straight. You think it's funny Charlie Kirk was shot? I do, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. George Floyd was a father too, and Charlie Kirk called him a scumbag. Is bombing journalists and doctors in Gaza not a form of political violence? Why are you all so fucking loud right now? Time Charlie Kirk's called an Asian woman in the audience a slur multiple times. He made millions off his racism and sexism. How do we know Charlie Kirk wasn't on fentanyl? Pretty sure he had a pre-existing neck condition too. I posted this on Threads as well, and I think I got more replies. Hang on. I'll check that in a moment. Second Amendment, I trusted you. Why? Wait. Check his pulse. He doesn't have a head. Oh my god. Wikipedia editors. Was. Sanix, I was considering it, but I think it definitely would be. I mean, there's plenty of video of him speaking at public events you can make an AI chatbot with. In fact, it's probably what Charlie Kirk would have wanted after he died, right? Making an AI chatbot you can debate. But I think it would be a bit too insensitive. It's not something I would do. I can see people wanting to do that. Just watch the ears turn into was on Charlie Kirk's Wikipedia page. Insanely funny, he got domed under his big Prove Me Wrong banner. Today marks the second time Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. Charlie Kirk, your smile is not compatible with society. And him saying Islam is not compatible with a Western civilization. When you say mass shooting, do you include gang violence? Bang. Dead. Now that guy ran away from the scene. Yeah, they've not caught his gunman yet. Feels like a good time. Charlie Kirk said he would force his 10-year-old daughter to carry a pregnancy term if she was raped.
Cesarean section is not going to save the mother's life. And the mother's life is actually at risk, which is debated amongst growing numbers of OBGYNs.
Okay.
That is the only case where abortion should be
Do you
allowed.
think there should...
But people say that it is a growing consensus in the pro-life world that abortion is never medically necessary.
Okay. So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped. And she was gonna give birth and she would, and she was gonna give birth and she was gonna live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's no, but it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh, okay, great. So that's insane.
But let me tell you why, to see you.
So I just have one question. There's like...
Literally, he said that. What will you do? Shoot me? This is the South Park episode from last week with Cartman becoming Charlie Kirk. Superman 2025. Probably a bit too graphic. Hang on.
This cannot be an infinite cycle of bloodlust. It cannot be killing tens of thousands of innocent civilians with a war with no end in sight, people who are not complicit in those atrocities. It cannot be bombing hospitals which children use. It cannot be bombing hospitals in which cancer patients are dying and starving in there. The deaths that have been inflicted, nobody knows the true toll, but somewhere between 50 and 100,000 people lie dead under the rubble.
Can you tell me what African country is currently ongoing a civil war?
Believe it or not, I know about Sudan. Okay, good. I'm not an idiot.
What Southeast Asian country has an ethnic cleansing going on right now?
Myanmar.
Good. And you have strong opinions on both sides?
Unlike you, I take an effort to be informed.
He thought he had a gotcha moment there by trying to bombard him with information.
You are a culture warrior. I will be glad that I will not have been somebody who has defended the genocide of the Palestinian people. When everything is done, Mr. Kirk, people will see you and the people you supported as corrupt.
Difference.
You will have to reckon with that.
Difference,
Mr. Kirk.
is when...
It's a shame you won't live to regret that. Charlie Kirk is a father. He said he'd make his 9-year-old daughter give birth if she was raped. Okay. Someone put a bet down saying, will Charlie Kirk run for any government office? No, and he got paid out. It did. There was 2 school shootings. There's more than one. I think there was one in, what's it called? Jackson County as well. There were 2 different school shootings that happened on the same day within the same hour. Because there was one in Colorado and one in Jackson County is the one I definitely... Unless it's the same place and I just heard it from 2 different places. I'm sorry I don't know American geography very well. It could be the same place. I know that you guys have different names for different parts of the state or whatever. Submit to your bullet, Charlie. You're not in charge. Charlie Kirk's playing one shot. I've seen a lot of meme pages I've also been following, posting pictures like this. This is from Femi, who I do follow.
Justifiable loss are now about to get real precious about the sanctity of...
Oh, he's just reading out the tweet he posted earlier that I read out. My ranked teammates versus the other team. I think it was Jackson County, wasn't it? Or was it something else? I might be thinking of a different place. I might have read it wrong. But I know there was another school shooting that happened at the same time. I'm seeing people just posting pictures of snipers. Hitler could get shot dead in this generation, and motherfuckers will be saying he had a family. Charlie Kirk is a father and a husband. He's a human. I don't care if you politically disagree with him. Nothing justifies this sick act. I've actually responded to this one. I think. Yeah, it's what he would have wanted. According to Charlie Kirk, capital punishment should be public, it should be quick, and it should be televised. He got exactly what he wanted. I must have misread that then, Sanix. That bitch is dead. That old bitch, he's a Nazi. A lot of Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme pages have been posting so many moments in the show that just sums up how everyone feels about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, all trans people are abominations. We should have a full military occupation of liberal cities and have kids watch public executions. Get shot. What violent rhetoric could have caused this? Literally, he got everything he wanted to see happen to people he didn't like. It's sad, but it's basically karma. Breaking: man who defends using political violence against his opponents has died, and you won't believe how.
And there's a little bit of mention here. For example, Politico says top Republicans reject any link between GOP rhetoric and Paul Pelosi assault.
I think it was Denver, Colorado then. I must have gotten it wrong, Sanix.
Any link.
Like I said, I don't know America very well.
Why is the Republican Party, why is the conservative movement to blame?
Yeah, he was shot at school. In fact, probably one of the most clean school shootings out there because he was the only victim. No one else was hurt. Like, even when the Trump shooter tried to kill Trump, he ended up killing someone behind him instead and getting Trump's ear and fired multiple shots. This was one shot. They got away with it. And they killed their target without hurting anyone else. I mean, they done a lot of psychological damage. I'm pretty sure everyone who was there is fucking traumatized. It was just a one shot. That's why it feels like it was a professional hit. It was done so clean, and they got away with it, and they left no evidence from what I can see. Like, even Luigi Mangione allegedly left evidence, because we don't know if he did it or not. Whoever did the shooting of the healthcare CEO left shells with delay, deny, depose written on them, which is sad. But yeah, we've not seen. I don't think they found any evidence yet. Metal Gear Page is posting pictures of the end. A father who agreed. Oh, I've seen this one already. That's how you take a shot. Charlie Kirk, his pronouns are now was, were. How was Charlie Kirk pro-life when he just died? What happened to Charlie Kirk is unconscionable, but it was literally just a few months ago that 2 Democratic state legislators were gunned down by a right-wing activist. Let's not pretend this is one-sided. Like I was saying, this kind of violence happens on both sides. If you want to be against it, you gotta be against it to both sides as well. You can't just say, I'm okay with it when it happens to one side, but I'm mad when it happens to my side. You have to be against gun violence in general. And the right are only just realizing this, because it's finally happened to them on their side. What if it's the adjuster? They need to stop giving mass shooters cool names, right? I feel bad for the one that did it the same day as Charlie Kirk's death, because he's not going to get any cool name from a newspaper article or whatever. We already have the right to healthcare. It's called owning a gun. Yeah, if they believe that there's a ton of them out there somehow causing mass violence. And if that were the case, America would legitimately probably be a better place right now, because people would be less likely to speak out, because they'll be afraid of the consequences from all these imaginary vigilantes they're afraid of. Breaking, this was Charlie Kirk's last interaction with the audience before being shot. Oh, I'm not going to click onto that because it's got the video in it. That I got it down below here. I said I posted it with the George Lucas gift saying it's like poetry, it rhymes. Breaking, this was Charlie Kirk's last interaction with the audience before being shot in the neck in Utah. There was a clip below. I'm not going to show the clip because it does show him getting shot. I'm pretty sure that'll get me banned. Audience member. Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Kirk. Too many. Same audience member. Went on to say 5 and proceeds to ask Kirk if he knows how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years. Kirk, counting or not counting gang violence. So he's literally about to mention black people. The answer is 5,700 in total, right? He never got to find out the answer because he was shot before he can say, oh, but it's black people doing it. Anyway, scroll past this real quick. Charlie Kirk, guns save lives. Independent fact checkers have found this to be false. Yeah, he was doing both trans and black people. He was throwing hate towards 2 minority groups at the same time. To get out of the way, get out of saying, you know, white Republicans are the most likely to be a mass shooter. I've been retweeting a lot of Charlie Kirk's posts as well. The area of the most gun violence in America are cities with the strictest gun laws. He died in Utah. Utah's gun laws are generally not strict, characterized by unrestricted or shall issue approach to concealed carry, meaning permits are straightforward to obtain. Again, it's poetic. It's like poetry. It rhymes, right? He was so adamant about how gun violence is increased by gun controls and strict gun laws, and he died in a state that had very relaxed gun laws. Charlie Kirk, facts. There are 30,000 gun deaths per year in America. That equates to 0.00915% of the population. Wow, I can't believe he was so lucky. My favorite thing about people crying about empathy for Charlie Kirk is that Charlie Kirk would disagree with them. This is his thoughts on empathy.
Does a lot of damage, but I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but I can't stand the word...
He was against the idea of empathy. So the fact that he died and is now receiving calls for empathy is probably the one thing he would not want to have happen. So I gotta say, the right are completely owning Charlie Kirk now after his death. More so than anyone else. Jezebel, we paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. One of the best posts I've seen of this whole situation. In terms of parody and satire about this whole thing, I think Jezebel probably did it the best. This is an underrated thing, but I love how this guy on my YouTube comment saying everyone's shut up is getting filtered out. Unrelated thing I'll probably talk about another time. By the way, according to Charlie Kirk's logic, his death is his own fault, not the shooters. If people want to suddenly talk about how wrong it is for people to get shot now, there's a place called Gaza where it's happening a lot. Your outrage against inhumane murderous acts would be better spent on. Sorry, my brain blanked for a second. I thought I said something wrong. I thought I mispronounced something, but no, it's good. So did Charlie Kirk lose a debate, or... The next episode of South Park is going to be so good. Prove me wrong. I'm just wishing upon Charlie Kirk what he's wished upon others. And yeah, evil Spider-Man dance. That's all on this. I'll move on to threads now. Before I do, I need a quick pee break. So I've been drinking a lot of water and talking a lot. So I'll be back in just a moment. I'll see you in a few minutes. Be right back. People think Superman is some kind of fucking power fantasy, like this is the strongest man in the entire world. He can beat anyone, he can do whatever he wants, no one can stop him. Right? That's what they think this is supposed to be, but no, that's Homelander from The Boys. Superman isn't a great character because he can do those things. Superman is a great character that has the potential to do those things, but he chooses not to, right? He chooses not to dominate the world. He chooses not to do whatever he wants. He chooses to help people and be kind instead, right? He has the power to kill anyone he wants, and he chooses to choose mercy every single time. That's what his strength is. The strength is that he's a good person, right? He doesn't let the power go to his head. He doesn't have a big ego. He's not full of himself. He's not constantly like whatever the fuck Ben Shapiro thinks he's supposed to be. He's a down-to-earth good person that believes in helping others because he's human. That's what the human experience... In fact, he says this directly to Lex Luthor's face in the movie. Oh man, they better clean that meat. It's only covered in so much dirt and bacteria.
Here comes some new challengers!
Because I always say no. Okay, that's an interesting way of doing things. Alright, how am I going to respond to this? Because if I'm not going to say no, what am I going to say? And then the guy that I sat at the table with over here says, "Oi, what's up with a nose ring? Is she supposed to be a barista or something?" I'll have a grande latte with oat milk and 2 shots of espresso, please.
This man's speaking another language.
You'll have to forgive me for my my son. He's
I have no clue what he's saying to me, and I feel like it's racist.
Oh, I just cleared my queue. Hang on a second. Okay, I'll add more in later. Hang on. You don't... Better?
ご先祖様の巻物に何が書いてあるんじゃろう。早く腕を上げて真の忍びにならなくてはな。
I mean, it could be worse. Alright, I returned. These are some posts I put separate posts out on Threads because I've been getting different types of interactions from them. So I'll show you some of the information I got here. And let me go on this one. There's a poll here. Who killed Charlie Kirk? I voted for the Mossad because that shot was too clean. Oh shit, you did get it right, Kona. Let me give you the medal for that. There we go. Yeah. People are saying, like, is it a base left-wing hero? Is it a right-wing nut job? Or was it a government one? I think it's one of the two government ones. I think it was probably the Mossad that did it. I think there's one here I put out. Hang on. I'm not going to show that video because that is the video of him getting shot. The tolerant left will oppose guns, everyone. I never said I was any of those things. I'm not the tolerant left. But you oppose guns. Not when they're being fired at people like Charlie Kirk, Lamau. A man whose greatest crime is disagreeing with you and defending a stance. You are the problem. Pretty sure the bullet that went through his neck was the problem. You support guns when they silence people who disagree with you. Sound like a totalitarian or Nazi to me. Putting bullets on white supremacists like Kirk is what the entire country did during World War II. He's not a white supremacist. He is. Straight up. He hated black people so much. We've seen all the clips already. But thanks for showing you're not only violent, but also stupid. I'll delete my entire account right now if you show me a clip of him saying that Black Lives Matter. And then he left. He left that discussion. Well, hang on, let me go to the other tab so it'll be easier this way, because the way Threads works. Rip Charlie Kirk, he would have loved to debate all the people saying gun violence is not okay right now. New rule, if you're not allowed to say you're against political violence or mourn the death of Charlie Kirk if you're son about Anas al-Sharif, which I have posted out as well here, and people in the comments as well. Sorry, don't care. Go back to your country, please. Yeah, straight up, legitimate Kona. We think we should find them at this point. Or at the very least, like, delete, like, restrict their accounts from reaching so many people, because it's straight up harming. It's harmful now, isn't it, at this point? Saying shit like that, because it's just inciting more hate and more violence. And there's anything new I posted here? Yeah, I got a lot of points for this one. I got 1.8k likes on breaking Charlie Kirk loses gun debate. With Smith and Wesson. It's like poetry, it rhymes. So here's someone who replied to me saying, I don't know if he deserves it, but I think it's worth it to have a few gun deaths every year to protect our God-given gun rights, right? This is someone who doesn't know who Charlie Kirk is, obviously responding because it's the thing that everyone's talking about, saying that it's worth it to have a few gun deaths every year to protect our God-given gun rights. Charlie Kirk has said that gun deaths, unfortunately, worth it to keep the Second Amendment. Straight up, like I said, it's a cycle, it's cyclical, right? He's a victim of the ideology he spread, and it's still spreading beyond him, right? To the point where someone who doesn't know who he is saying exactly what he preaches about his death, which is insane. It's insane to witness. This is when I initially saw the post that he was shot. I said he was hit in the head. On the slim chances he survives, because the video was very graphic. I didn't think he was, but I did hope he would survive. On the slim chance he survives, I hope he's never able to talk again. I think that would have been I would have preferred that to be the case. Like, I'm someone who, as much as I commented on his death happening, like, honestly, it's happened. Not much we can do about it now. But when I heard the news, I wanted him to live. Because I think, again, it would have been the most poetic thing ever if he was never able to speak again. But I knew from the footage that I'm not going to show here that the chances were very slim. It was a very clean shot. That's what I'm thinking it could have been. Like a professional hit or something. Especially considering he had accomplices to help him get away. Yeah, I think it would have been better off if he survived and was unable to have debates ever again, basically. He was unable to speak. If he was left in a state where he can no longer spew hate towards other people, that would have been the best outcome. But unfortunately, he didn't exactly survive, did he? Like, I'm not celebrating his death in any way. I would have preferred he survived, but like, lived with the consequences of the shit he was doing and the hate he was spreading. But hey, that's them's the breaks, right? As Boris Johnson said when he resigned. Anyway, I think I'm done with Charlie Kirk now. Watch this. Let's chat. I'm gonna play some games. I don't know if I'll be playing Snake Eater today. What else have we got? I mean, I could do. I'd rather have. I'm not wearing the bandana right now, so. I could play Hollow Knight. I have really been enjoying playing Hollow Knight. You know what, maybe I will go with the Hollow Knight. Let's play. Anyway, oh, I've got 500 geos. Let me see if I can spend that anywhere.
Papa nada.
Okay, let me adjust the volume a little bit. A little too loud. Okay, you know what? Let me get that. Yeah, let's get that one. Well, let's get as many of these as I can for now. Get rid of all my geos, so if I die, I don't have to worry about losing them.
Papa nada.
You have any other dialogue?
Ofum Sanjo.
No, okay, we're good. I think I know which I need to go down to that green path, don't I? Okay, I've got markers telling me where things are now, so I don't have to worry about remembering it. Down here. Because I've got the ability to do a Kamehameha now, which means I can take out the dude that was blocking my path. Oh, I'm taking too many hits. I should not be taking this many hits. I'm guessing if I step into that acid below or hot water below, I'll end up dying, so let's not do that. Oh. Clearly I can't follow my own advice. Alright, I need to get more. I need to max up my my meter before I go in there. that can actually do projectile attacks. Yeah, that should be good. The Pilgrim's Way. Travelers of Hallownest ascend through the verdant wilds and fungal groves to the city at the kingdom's heart. There, all wishes shall be granted, all truths revealed. Does that dude then respawn? Do you have to fight him again? Or no, he's gone permanently. Okay, that's good. Actually see where I need to jump to. Green path, okay. He might give me trouble. Yep, you would give me trouble. Okay. Right, now I know not to get too close to you.
Yep.
Shit. Oh, lucky. Oh, I need to find the map. Okay, I need to find the map for the area. Shit. I was too indecisive. I had to commit to which side I want to go to. I don't want to kill the birds. Oh, is that a bench? It is, okay. Oh, hang on. I want to try something. Just to see if it's possible. If I get anything for doing it. I was wondering what that sound was. Turns out it's raining outside. I got my blind shut so I couldn't see it. Ooh. Oh my god, it's Silk Song. I know her name's Hornet. For everyone on the internet who don't know that, have been calling her Silk Song, same way that they used to call Samus Metroid. Shit, I almost died, okay. was too eager. And again. Same mistake twice. At least I'm on brand, right? When it comes to doing things wrong. Come at me, bro. Was not expecting him to come at me that fast. Ooh. Is that a swing? Okay, interesting. I wonder if I can parry that. I think I can, okay. Oh, I think that paper means map dude is nearby. Oh, I spent all my geodes. I should have saved it for this. Isn't this a contrast from the crossroads? Such a humid, lively place. The road twists and turns in the most wonderful ways. I've done my best to chart the area ahead, though I must admit, some of the areas and happenings proved to be quite a nuisance. Purchase a map? Hell yeah. I ran into another traveller as I made my way down here. I tried to call out to her as she dashed past, but she barely even glanced in my direction. Not an appreciator of maps like you and I, obviously. Oh, I think I see what I'm supposed to do here. Okay, if I go this way. Totally by luck. Help me, bro. Like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon waiting for someone to fall underneath or stand underneath the anvil. Like I'm Wile E. Coyote or something. Down here. Oh, let me check my map I just got as well. Okay, interesting. Find out what's this way because it's not on the map. Oh, did I just find an optional boss fight? No. Tiny Squib, you approach fearless. Are you a hunter like me? Do you feel the urge inside to stalk, to kill, to understand? Then take it, my journal. It will aid you. At first, the text may seem difficult to discern, but a learned hunter will come to understand its worth. Venture the depths of this land and slay its beast. Prove yourself worthy to bear the mark of hunter. Bloodborne mentioned. Let's go. Oh, is this okay? Journal. Oh, it's keeping a track of all the different enemies. Okay. Little Squib, you may have overcome a few creatures, but you are only just beginning. Don't delay. Descend into the belly of this world and hunt down the life you find. Got you. Go this way. Oh, it's one of those dudes in My Little Pony jar. You have been saved. Trying to get my timing better on that. I imagine this is practice for whichever boss is next. So I'll probably have to parry like that often. Shit. That was not according to Keikaku. Is that my Shadow the Hedgehog? Is that who she is? Shit, did not mean to do that. Fields over there. I thought there'd be a trap or something, like spike pits or something. Oh, oh, there it is. I knew it. I knew it. I just happened to be lucky enough to dodge it. Oh, that's fiendish. You can barely see it. It blends in so well with the foliage. I guess that's the whole point, right? A long ass cat corridor. I think he's stuck. Oops. Oh shit, I'm doing this to myself now, okay. There we go. Locked and loaded. Shit. This thing's annoying. The attacking, it's not even feeling my meter, is it? Unless I attack the main body. There we go. That was purely out of spite. Oh, there she goes. I'm guessing she wants me to follow her. Oh, we're going up now, okay. No, I was not paying attention to my health. Okay. All the way back there again. Okay, what I'm going to do... I'm going to save it here, I think. I know it's a small one, but I've streamed long enough for today. Let's chat. Thank you for everyone tuned in, of course, as always. I appreciate it. I'll see if I can raid out to anyone. Hopefully I can find someone nice. And I spent most of it talking about someone I don't like. Hopefully I'll never have to do that again. Can't believe I shared so much Charlie Kirk posting so many of his posts just today. The last few days even. Oh, who do I want to send everyone to? One of my friends is playing the brand new Borderlands game that's come out. I might send you to her. Yeah, why not? I hope you enjoy watching Ivory Rose playing some Borderlands 4. And I will see you maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure. I won't be here over the weekend, unfortunately. Maybe Monday, who knows. I make things up as I go. I hope you enjoy watching Ivory play some Borderlands, and I will see you whenever I see you, I guess. Sayonara.